This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. Glad to have you with us. I have the non-doctor Johnny Key, the Arkansas Education Commissioner, with us here, and Angela Duran with the Arkansas Campaign for Grade Level Reading. Thank you both for being here. And our topic today is education. We got a couple of things to talk about. I want to begin with a new report from Attendance Works and the Everyone Graduate Center that Angela has been in the middle of. This is a study of about 70,000 Arkansas kids. We see that there is a truancy and an absentee problem in Arkansas. Why don't you give us the highlights?
Sure. So the report shows that 14% of kids in Arkansas, K through 12, are chronically absent. So that's where the 69,000, about 69,000 kids in Arkansas are missing a month or more of school every year.
How does that translate into what it does in terms of grades and impact and advancement?
So it's really an issue that business leaders ought to be concerned about. First of all, it is a workforce issue. So if a student is chronically absent, they're not going to read on grade level by third grade, and they're less likely to graduate from high school. It's also a soft skills issue. So if a child is missing a lot of school when they're in school, they're the employee that's probably not going to show up. And then finally, it's a productivity issue. So if a child is home because they're sick, then their parent's not going to show up for work. So it's really, you know, there's multiple reasons why it impacts our economy.
Yeah, you see these numbers, Johnny. How does the department react? What are policymakers going to do about this?
Well, you know, as we went around the state a couple of years ago in preparation of our Arkansas State Plan under the Every Student Succeeds Act, that's the federal law that replaced No Child Left Behind. One of the areas of feedback we got from educators was, look, absenteeism is a problem, and we believe that it is sufficient to include in our accountability plan. And so that became one of the measures of student engagement that we put in our accountability plan. So now schools are actually measured in part on attendance, chronic absenteeism. And what we believe that that's going to do is put more focus at the local level where it needs to be on addressing those issues of why students aren't engaged. You know, is it something that is across the board in all grades? Is it something that starts early in a pattern that goes on through their career? And how does parental and family engagement impact that? So we've really ramped up our efforts in that area as well to make sure parents know, look, your child is missing valuable learning time if they're not here.
What does the report give us some indication? I would think that if there's almost 70,000 children, this is pretty widespread. It's not just an urban or a rural or a suburban issue. It's not a Northwest Arkansas, a Delta, a Central Arkansas. It's everywhere. Is it everywhere?
It truly is. And there's a really awesome website where you can go and check this out. But one of the things that jumped out at me is places like Sheridan and Cabot and Beebe had pretty high chronic absence rates, and those are not places that you would expect. In fact, higher than the Little Rock School District, for example.
So what do educators do about this? Is this a matter of identifying and connecting with the parents to make this change, or are there other things that you can do within the school systems themselves to make a difference on this front?
I think, one, teachers can model that expected behavior. That's one of the topics that the state board has been looking at is absenteeism among educators. So, you know, first thing is, look, if you want your kids to be there, teachers need to be there, they need to be engaged. So we're looking at ways to help make sure that that is not a pervasive problem around the state. And the other thing is, what are those reasons that kids are missing? Is it health? You know, are there health issues, doctor's appointments, chronic illness, those things that would keep kids out? And many of our districts around the state are attacking that through school-based health clinics and making measures, taking measures through partnerships with the community to bring resources in that would help keep kids in the classroom and not at home or not spending time at the doctor's office. Things that can be caught early that don't become bigger issues as they go down through the school year.
Do you see this as something where you'll be pushing for some policy change in the next legislative session to put some things in place to address this?
I think the policies are right now. Really, it's an awareness, and how, you know, the great thing about the Every Student Succeeds Act is it really puts a lot of emphasis on creating those local plans. I can't create a local plan for Springdale. I can't create a local plan for Texarkana. Those educators, those community leaders can do that much better than we can from Little Rock. So those are the conversations we're having around the state is what support do you need from us? You know what the issue is, and you're going to know better how to correct it than we will. So how can we help you make that happen?
This question's for either one of you on this front. Who's got the best practices model right now? Is there a district or is there a community that's doing it right now that has brought this absenteeism or truancy problem down?
And I can give a real good example. Springdale is a place that we've been working with, and a couple of elementary schools really brought it down. But they made a recent policy change that's terrific. They recognized that a lot of the Hispanic students were going back home to Mexico or wherever, but they were staying through the Three Kings holiday. So they've extended their Christmas break, or I think shifted it so that you come back after that holiday, acknowledging that the families are going to be there anyway. So let's just wait till they're back, and then we'll start school again.
An example of a local district adapting the policy to work for its students.
And that's a great example. And like in Independence County, Southside Batesville School District has really developed a very strong program for school-based health and trying to make sure that those partners in the community are engaged so that the students and the teachers can stay there on campus and get many of those needs met health-wise. Magazine is another district that has taken efforts to have that school-based health clinic. That's a great model. So there are, around the state, there are great examples, and when districts ask us, hey, what can we do? Often we say, well, talk to the leaders in these districts. They may have some ideas that will help you.
Let's drag Angela into a topic that she doesn't want to talk about here. We're going to talk about teacher pay. It's become a subject of conversation in the governor's race this year. You've got both the Democratic and incumbent Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson, who appointed you, by the way, to, advocating for more pay for teachers. If teachers are going to be a potential solution on the problem that we were just discussing, as among other things, why have we not gotten more aggressive with teacher pay than we have, and why is it now becoming the subject of conversation?
Well, I think it's been a topic of conversation, certainly under Governor Hutchinson's administration. If you look, Roby, in 2009, there was the minimum teacher salary was set at $29,244. That was not adjusted until 2015. So you went a gap of 6 years where there was no legislative or executive branch action to move that. And since 2015, there has been an upward adjustment each year. And now the governor has come out with, by the end of his second term, minimum salary of $36,000, which would put us among the leaders in the region. So it's really about priority. And I think the attention that we have seen given to the needs of teachers, the importance of teachers in the classroom, has really driven that policy conversation. Being an election year, it's going to get a lot of attention. Right. And teachers are a very significant voting bloc around the state. But more importantly than that, it's just the right thing to do. And I think our department has worked to provide the governor with information on what the impact of having that teacher in the classroom really means to the success long-term of the students. The other thing that we have implemented in 2017, the department put together a plan for tiered licensure so that teacher leaders that don't want to leave the classroom to move up in either in a salary or get them out into a leadership role that typically is an assistant principal or principal. We now have a process in place where districts can put lead teachers, master teachers in roles where they can be more of a mentor, more of a leader, but they can still have that opportunity to be in the classroom and actually touch the lives of those kids directly. That's feedback that we heard from teachers, and we're looking to find districts who are ready to implement that. That law's been on the books just in the last few months.
So we talk about that in the media world here. A lot of times you see some of your best writers get moved up to editors. They may not be great editors, but they're great writers. I believe you keep them in their writing lanes there as well, and just and let them improve. So let's talk about improving teacher pay. What do you think that does for grade level reading? What do you think that does for this absenteeism problem? Does it help recruit more people, obviously, to the profession?
Yeah, because I think, I mean, if you look at enrollment in colleges of education, enrollment's down right now. And so knowing that there are incentives that, recruit the best and the brightest into teaching, I think the more we have of that, the better.
All right, last topic here. Again, we're going to bring you kicking and screaming into this one, Angela. Computer coding. The governor has been doing his tour. This has been, I would say, by all stretches of the imagination, a wildly successful program that he enacted. He campaigned on it in 2014. I know there are a lot of tours that go on. What are you seeing in the numbers of what is happening in computer coding in Arkansas over the last 3 or 4 years?
The percentage increases, and I don't have those with me memorized. Anthony Owen, our leader of that effort, would have those memorized, but it's been beyond our expectations. And we're also finding that students are hungry for those opportunities because it's the world they live in. They understand that. When you look at places like West Memphis High School, where the nickname is Hacker High because they have, a cybersecurity element that's going on there, and the investment that they've had, the partnerships that they've had to create these learning spaces where those high school students can real-world simulations of what is happening and developing those skills. Jacksonville, the proximity to the Air Force Base and the critical nature of coding to national defense, not just national defense, but the defense of our infrastructure, our financial infrastructure, all those systems that come into place. Kids are now seeing those opportunities to get a ground level knowledge and skills in those fields, creating opportunities that in 5 years there will be jobs that do not exist today. We talk about that a lot. When they have those computer coding skills, they'll be able to step into those roles. They'll have the critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills, the collaborative skills that go along with being successful in that industry.
Is it a challenge for you, Angela, to get kids to read when they are intuitively on their phones and doing things? They speak in emojis now. How do you teach a kid to read in emojis? I mean,
well,
seriously, is it a challenge?
No, I mean, the reality is to do the coding, you have to be able to read too, because you need the instructions for how to do it. And so, I just applaud what the Department of Education has done with the RISE initiative. They're not just focusing on coding, they're focusing on reading too. They realize that both are important.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Johnny Key, Angela Duran, thank you both for being here. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you,
Good to be
Roby.
here.
All right. That's all for this edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.